Today we begin with the Prime Minister's decision to purchase a home on the New South Wales Central Coast, a beach called Copacabana. Let's go live to Andrew Clennell. And Andrew, I think it was Peter Allen, wasn't it, Copacabana, that famous song, and it's generating a bit of attention today, that beautiful part of the world.
Look, I've had that song going through my head all morning as I texted you, Kieran, and yeah, I forgot it was Peter Allen. He's going to be at Copacabana in Rio for the G20 next month, and he's going to be in Copacabana on the Central Coast, most likely once he leaves office, the Prime Minister. It is very intriguing timing. So the story of this is he's marrying Jodie Hayden, as we know. That's happening next year after the election. She's a Central Coast girl. He loves visiting the seat of Robertson, which is a marginal, which is handy because her whole family is there, grandparents, parents who are school teachers, cousins, and it appears their plan is to settle there. But it's intriguing timing from a political perspective. We've got a house of living crisis. We've got a cost of living crisis. We've got a housing crisis, should I say. And it also says to his colleagues, I'm not hanging around forever. Well, he is 61. Jodie Hayden presently living at the Lodge in Kirribilli, swapping time between the two. And as I understand it, her parents spotted this property. It's $4.3 million, down from $4.65 last sale. That's a sign of high interest rates, by the way, that prices are coming down. And he has decided to leap in and purchase the property. It's not through yet, though. Contracts have been exchanged, but it's contingent on this Dulwich Hill sale of the Prime Minister's. And they had to pull that from auction. I think we can safely say it will go ahead, though. Once you exchange contracts, you're pretty serious. But it's a hairy time between properties for most of us, especially so when you're the Prime Minister, and Sky News and other outlets happened to break it this morning. So this was the Prime Minister earlier. He was talking up housing and government's doing things for housing. He's about to have a magnificent new house, the PM earlier.
When your relationship changes, your life changes and you make decisions. Of course, I am much better off. As a Prime Minister, I earn a good income. I understand that. I understand that I've been fortunate. But I also know what it's like to struggle. My mum lived in the one public housing that she was born in for all of her 65 years. And I know what it's like, which is why I want to help all Australians into a home, whether it be public homes or private rentals or home ownership.
So how does this play out? Do people cut him a break? He is the Prime Minister after all. Does it say, how great is Australia? We can be aspirational and start in public housing and end up with a $4.3 million retirement home? I don't know if you can these days. You could when you were Anthony Albanese's age and buying properties at the right time and building up and having those generous allowances that politicians get in relation to travel and so forth. They do get paid less than people in big business. But one advantage Anthony Albanese has over his colleagues is he's on the old pension scheme that Mark Latham and John Howard got rid of for the 2004 election. So he will get a generous annual stipend every year once he retires. Does it also send signals to the troops, to the electorate, as he goes to the election campaign next year, that he might not serve full term? It'd be difficult to not speculate otherwise, I have to say. But the other thing is he's really played all the way through on his humble background and identified with Australians because of this. I grew up in social housing with my disabled mum. It was a tough time for me, and that is certainly very true. And here's an example of how he used that in the last election campaign.
I know the benefit of a secure roof over your head. It's my life. It's how I have got to a position of the son of a single mum who grew up in public housing to be running for Prime Minister of this country. It gave me the confidence and security in life.
Well, it's my understanding today the opposition kind of wonders if the PM isn't acting with a bit of a tin ear here, but Peter Dutton was playing a straight bat to it, wishing them well, while pointing out the difficulties for average Australians with cost of living and purchasing a home and even renting these days.
I wish he and Jodie well, but the homeowners in Australia that I'm worried about at the moment are people who can't afford their mortgages. People have had 12 interest rate increases under this government. and interest rates should come back. But because of Mr Albanese's bad economic management, we're seeing inflation remain higher here, and therefore interest rates remain higher as well.
Yeah, well handled there by Peter Dutton. Andrew, I just had a friend of this program, a lover of 70s music, tell me it wasn't Peter Allen, it was Barry Manilow who had Copacabana. So correction there for us too, who we were 4 years old when that song came out. So I guess we get some defence. But Peter Dutton, I just wanted to pick up on Peter Dutton because I think he handled that appropriately and well today, not commenting on the specifics and then pivoting to the broader issue. And to be fair, he's doing pretty well himself. He sold a couple of properties recently, including one on the Gold Coast that went for quite a bit, probably more than the joint at Copa.
There's absolutely no doubt about that, and I think that's reasonable for us to point out. He's quite wealthy. He's done quite well, as has his wife, with a childcare centre business. But it is the timing that I think will stick with some Australians. So that will be a bit of a challenge for the Prime Minister. A lot of Australians will identify, though, with if you find what you think is the perfect house, you kind of have to jump, don't you? But it is the economic conditions which make it a bit cheaper for him. Of course, it is a beachside house, much cheaper than you can get in Sydney, I've got to say, Kieran. And I'm on with Peter Credlin tonight. She, of course, labelled Malcolm Turnbull Mr Harbourside Mansion. His property is worth 10 times this, or was back then.
That's true, exactly. Yeah, you wouldn't trouble the scorers, would you, with $4 million in that part of Sydney? Andrew, thank you very much. Appreciate it.